Okay, just stop it, okay? Just enough. Cut it with the psychobabble bullshit, would you please? My God, yes. Okay, I turned to drugs to cope with her death. Okay, you caught me. My God. I can't take any more of this recyclable, ancient rhetoric you keep spitting in my face. Like, everything happens in accordance to God's divine plan, and God works in mysterious ways that are beyond our comprehension. And, oh, the worst one. God only took her because he needed another angel. Jesus. I don't think I'm the sick one here. I don't. I think that anybody who gets down on their knees to pray to Santa for favors is just as mentally unstable as somebody who turned to drugs to cope. She was 15 when she was diagnosed. I remember that moment that she told us like it was yesterday. It was a Saturday night, right? And my sister, Christina, and I, and our parents, we were just sitting around the kitchen table having my mom's famous baked ham that she always makes. And just in the middle of a completely unrelated conversation, all of a sudden, bam, she just drops a bomb. Cancer. She just brought it up in the most innocuous way, like you'd bring up a funny story that happened at school or something. Like she just laughed it off. She didn't know any other way to say it, I guess. But what's so weird is that it didn't seem like a shock at first. You know, I mean, my mother and I were both cancer survivors. I mean, a different kind, but I mean, we made it through with radiation, and we did, you know, we made it through to the other side with fair to minimal battle scars, and so we're optimistic about cancer diagnosis. You know, hell, if we made it through, anybody can, right? But then she hit that critical blow. 3 months. Max. So what the doctors gave her with chemo. And I couldn't hear anything she said after that over the ringing in my ears and the pounding in my head. And the next morning I woke up and I went to church like I did every week, and I prayed harder that day than I think I've ever prayed in my life. And for months prior to that, all my friends seemed to be going through the same kind of crisis of faith, like this doubting phase. And they're all praying for signs, right? It's just some kind of sign that God exists. Like, please, God, show me anything. A new car would be nice if you could swing it, shit like that. And my friend Allie, so she prayed for dandelions, right? Her favorite flower. That was her sign. That's what she wanted. And she was walking down the street one day, and she happened to look left, and she saw a front yard full of dandelions, and she attributed that to being a sign from God, you know, instead of fucking nature like anybody else would have. But as stupid as I thought that was, some part of me thought that maybe that prayer might work. So that Sunday at church, I prayed to him, please heal her as my sign. I've never asked you for anything ever, and I'm begging you now. Let my sign be somebody else's prolonged life. And I prayed every day. And it took a while. It took about 5 months. But all of a sudden she was free of the beast. Oh, such a great feeling. The doctors told my parents and me that her cancer was in complete and total remission, just miraculously, all of a sudden like that. So I took it, of course, as an answered prayer, and I poured every bit of energy I had into church. I went to every service. I tithed twice as much as I was asked to. I did everything that I could to get a closer relationship with God as a thank you for what he did for my sister. And it brought us closer together, she and I. I mean, we were close before, but when you almost lose somebody, it reminds you how much you really need them, you know. And we were together all the time. She sang in the choir, and she had a beautiful voice. She acted in all the little plays that they did, and she was so damn talented. And she had this crazy little dream of being a star on Broadway. Every time we'd see the Tonys on TV, she'd go, oh, that's going to be me one day. I'm going to win one of those. One day. Well, she made it to New York, but It wasn't for Broadway, it was for more cancer treatments. The year and a half after her initial diagnosis, the cancer came back hard. Harder than they ever could have anticipated. And as a dutiful Christian, I thought, hey, it's just a bump in the road. That's it. It's just a test of my faith and just a stepping stone on my walk with him, and everything will be fine. A similar delusion to the one that you carry. But then when she was 17, our God that I prayed to, loved, devoted the last few years of my life to, left. This fuck up of a human being, this high school dropout who's cynical and mean to people and lacks ambition, an occasional drug addict for Christ's sake, and took my saint of a sister 1 week before her high school graduation. Couldn't even give her that. And look, I know you've lost people in your life. I know I'm not the only one. But what you don't understand is that when you've survived cancer, when you've made it through it, you have to watch the people that you love suffer, wither away, and die from it. It's a heavy burden. You're racked with guilt. And you wish it was you every time. My sister makes seven people that I lost to the disease that I beat for no fucking reason. Where's the fairness in that, huh? Why am I here instead of them? No. I wasn't the only one that prayed for her. She prayed every single day. I'd get it if it was a personal strike at me. He answered my prayer and then he reneged on the promise. I'd get it if it was personal, but she prayed every day, even before the cancer. And when she knew she was gonna die, just imagine how she must have begged him. Imagine how she must have pleaded. How she must have beseeched heaven for the better part of 2 years and no answer at all. Nothing. Which leads me to one of two conclusions. Either he watched it with indifference and he didn't do a fucking thing, or he isn't there. I know. You don't like me criticizing his work. Well, I don't like his results.
Okay. Oh.